Hey, I'm Zach with Touchstone Roofing, and you're tuned in to OnlyRoofers podcast.
Welcome to the OnlyRoofers podcast. My name's Elizabeth, and today I'm interviewing Zach from Touchstone Roofing. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you.
So, talk to us. What do you do?
I'm the Director of Mitigation for Touchstone.
Okay. So, what is a director of mitigation?
So I'm the guy that goes in and tears the house apart after a storm or after a water loss and puts it back together.
And before that, you were doing what?
Before that, I was working for another roofing company, and I was in sales, and I was running their billing department. So I was doing all their supplementing, estimating.
Wow. So, insurance work has really been your background?
For the last 8 years, it has been.
Okay.
Before that, I was doing restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So, how did you initially get started in insurance restoration?
My apartment flooded.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my apartment flooded, and then I had a buddy who was doing water restoration, and I thought something was off because they had a carpet cleaning company come out and suck the water out. And he came out and was telling me about toe kicks having to come out under cabinets, and cabinets needed to come out, and the drywall needed to come out, and
Yeah. So you
Put
don't get
together-
mold and die.
put together an estimate, and I took that to the front office, and they were like, "We're not going to move you out of that apartment. You're fine."
Oh, wow.
And then I gave him that estimate, and he turned around and moved me into an apartment the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so what was the next step for you? Why did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
Because when I was sitting there in my apartment, it felt like it was the end of my world. It felt like the worst night of my life.
Yeah, crisis.
Because I spent 3 hours running back and forth to Walmart trying to stop the leak, and then I finally got it off after we had to call maintenance and then the fire department, and I'm laying in 4 inches of water, and I'm just like, this is hell.
Yeah.
And I've been out to a ton of jobs now where people are having the ceiling fall down, or they're having 4 inches of water, or like we had a house in Dallas and there was 4 feet of water in the basement, and we get to go out and
Save the day.
save the day, kind of be an in-house therapist, and it keeps it interesting, and there's not set rules for a lot of it.
Is that what personally motivates you? Is the fact that you went through that and that feeling, and you want to help people not feel like that? Or what would you say is your biggest motivation?
I think I just want to make a difference, because the people that came in, I think that definitely had a lot to do with it. The people that came in really weren't telling me what was going on.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Yeah. I think they were just there doing their job, and they got paid for what they did.
Yeah.
But it didn't help us. It didn't help anybody else, because there were, originally they thought it was only one apartment that was affected. And then when my friend came out and was looking at it, he's like, well, this apartment's got to be affected.
Yeah.
And they went in there, and sure enough.
So what was your first job within the industry?
The first job that I had was a water loss in Glendale, Arizona.
Wow.
And it was a toilet on the second floor flooded the house.
Wow.
And we had to, everybody when you go into their house when they've had a water loss, most of them are trying to like clean up, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's usually not this messy. And you can really tell, like, the people who that's the truth.
Yeah.
But this one, there was like 3 inches of dog hair around all the baseboards, and we ended up having to gut the house and gut the ceiling. I mean, it was just everything that happens in a hurricane. We had to do in that
So
house
what made you
because
think,
of
this is what I want to do every single day is look at this?
I mean, I definitely did. I mean, it's not what I planned on doing. Like, I wasn't in elementary school going, man, I want to clean up people's crap for a living.
So then from there, let's talk about getting more niche specific into roofing, and then deciding, boom, I'm going to get into water mitigation again. So what made you go into roofing, and then what's making you go back to your roots?
Roofing was interesting to me just because I like to build stuff.
Yeah.
I like to build stuff and
Not deal with disgusting things inside people's houses?
yeah, that got old. That definitely it wears you out.
Were
But
you doing, you
roofing
said
was
sales?
more of I like the back end a lot more than sales. I've worked for some great companies. We've just slowly moved in different directions at times.
Yeah.
So it made more sense to get back into water where I have a little bit more control, and people that are coming to me are asking me
For help.
and wanting me to handle the entire process instead of, well, this is what worked for me, 5 years ago when I sold.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even feel like sales to me. That's where there's kind of that disconnect on both sides, where roofing, for some reason, to me, feels a lot more salesy.
Yeah.
Even though sales isn't a bad thing. It's what I do every day when I go out to a water loss.
Yeah.
I've just
sold
flows
all kind of
natural.
random things.
Yeah, it just flows more natural for me. And one of my buddies that we've been going back and forth, that's one of the things that makes us kind of mesh well.
Yeah.
Is he likes to sell and build roofs. I like to sell roofs sometimes. I like to do the back end.
Yeah.
And then I like to do the interior and work for.
What was your success in supplementing?
I mean, it was up and down. I've had so many people that I've taught in the last 3 years how to supplement that'll just get really down because they hit a week where they can't get a hold of any adjusters and nothing's coming in. But then they get the week right after that where they've got $70,000 to $150,000 of supplements coming in, and they really didn't have to work that hard. All they did was make sure that everything was accurate and included.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to put that into a metric for how successful it was.
It's case by case
it worked.
basis. Yeah.
It worked really well.
So now going back into water mitigation, what made the roofing company that you're working for now decide they wanted to get into that field?
The relationships that we had. I've known the owner at Touchstone for almost 3 years now.
Wow.
And we would kind of keep in touch, and he'd check in and tell me what he was doing. I'd call him and bitch about what I was unhappy about, and
it was only a matter of time before you switched over.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. But
timing is everything in life.
And everything kind of has just worked out.
Yeah.
Without any hiccups, really.
Yeah.
Which has been pretty cool.
Are you so now it was director
of mitigation.
Okay, so
to be honest with you, I just picked something that sounded official because we never actually talked about it. And he's like, "Cool, run with it."
Yeah, director. All right, you're director.
Yeah.
So, going into the company now with a new, fresh set of eyes that's giving you this opportunity to come in and create something. What are some of the things that you're looking forward as an individual? What's going to force you to grow?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a hard question, I think.
It's a good one to ask yourself because so many of us always wait for an opportunity like this. And I feel like one of the hardest challenges in life is when you're given a great opportunity, knowing how to take it all the way, right? So the sooner we're real with ourselves and we ask ourselves, okay, I have what I've always dreamed of. What am I going to do now?
Yeah, I think Chris has laid a good foundation for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's always, in the 4 months that we've been out here working this storm, he's gone above and beyond to try to make us feel like we're part of the family. And he says it constantly that we're part of the family. It gets, like, we all squabble like family does.
That's exactly true.
But it's the conversations right there where I get to, one of the guys that works with us, Ethan, he's 24 and he's me at 24, but he's even better, better off right now in the position that he's in.
Do you have kids or a family or anything like that?
The joke I always use is I have none that I know of. Not that I'm Not that I'm doing anything crazy, but
Yeah.
no, not yet. I'm single as a dollar bill. So
So are you looking forward to now establishing this new career, having this kind of new position that you're going into, and just kind of moving forward, maybe settling
yeah,
down?
yeah, it's definitely a different spot in life right now because I don't think I've ever looked at, hey, where do I want to be? What do I want to,
What do I want to be when I grow up?
yeah, like what do I want to be when I grow up? And I still ask myself that. I'm like,
Yeah.
am I grown up now?
Yeah, you are.
I was talking with a friend earlier, and she was like, do I have to adult today? And I'm like, yeah, but
Maybe
it's
not.
probably gonna work out.
Aw. Well, it's amazing to hear that. Any kind of last advice for another company owner out there who wants to attract great talent and still keep that family culture, what would you recommend that they do?
I would say don't have acquaintances, have relationships with these people.
That's
Like
amazing.
even if they're not going to work for you now,
Yeah.
even if they're never going to work for you,
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and to talk to
Awesome
somebody
one.
who can relate.
And
So.
actually cares.
Yeah, that was a big one for Chris.
Well, guys, there's a great piece of advice. Sometimes attracting the right talent is just maintaining a consistent relationship and checking in with people, being human, and actually giving a crap about others. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Zach.
Thank
Catch
you
us
for having
on
me.
the next episode of the Only Roofers podcast. We look forward to seeing you soon.